Okay. Hello, dear class. Hello, Victoria. Very glad to see you as a new student. And let me know each other better. Tell us your name, where you're from, and what do you like to read. Victoria, you can start.
Okay. Hi, everyone. My name is Victoria. I'm from Argentina, so Córdoba, Argentina, Córdoba city of Argentina. And I like to read poetry and Norse mythology and Greek mythology too, and play music, so I can read the partitures. So no, nothing more, I guess. That's all.
Okay, Carlos.
Hello, how are you doing? My name is Carlos. I'm from Mexico. My favorite books are science fiction and crime novels.
Okay, good, thanks. Eric.
Hi, my name is Eric. I'm from Argentina. I'm from Bahia Blanca. I like beer, horror books like H.P. Lovecraft. I like astronomy, and I'm nursing student in the UNS.
What do you like to read?
I like H.P. Lovecraft. It's a horror writer.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Thank you.
Okay, Susana.
Well, my name is Susana. I'm from Santiago, Chile, and I like to read thriller and horror books.
Okay, my name is Ellen. I'm English teacher from Ukraine. I very like to read like detective stories or adventure. In the childhood, I like to read the adventures of Sherlock Holmes and 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. And now I like something with a similar plots, like these books. And just recently, when I have been a student, I read the same stories in English, the same children's stories in English. Okay, here is my class. Victoria, as a new student, I will give you the opportunity to read these class rules.
You can repeat, please.
Read it, please. Yes.
I need to read the text?
Yes. Yes.
Oh, okay. Okay, Helen English class rules. Remember, number 1, remember Zoom can lead only 14 minutes conference. If you come to class late, you will miss some activities. 2 points is all students must answer one by one. Do not interrupt each other. Oh, okay, I understand. And 3, raise your hand when answering a question and wait for the teacher to call on you. 4, teach one another. 5, help one another.
Okay, Eric, as a second time coming student, read the same rule in Spanish for making it more clear.
Recuerde que Zoom puede llevar solo 40 minutos de conferencia. Si llega tarde a la clase, se perderá algunas actividades. 2. Todos los estudiantes deben responder uno por uno. No se interrumpan. 3. Levante su mano cuando responda una pregunta y espere a que el maestro lo llame. 4. Enséñense unos a otros. 5. Ayúdense unos a otros.
Okay, here I will explain a little bit. The first rule say Zoom can lead only 40 minutes. But if I want to make more than 40 minutes, I need to pay $10. But the free version of Zoom can read only 40 minutes. That's why I just come on time and we need to start. I can wait to no one. If you come to class late, we will just start because I will not have time to explain all the lesson material. And the second 2 rules about discipline, it's clear, and the number 4 and 5 rules just teach one another and help one another. Somebody have A1 English, somebody have B1 English, and people who speak English better, they're helping to the people who just started learning English. We just help one another. I'm just a leading person who leads the class, but the students are helping. One day we had one girl from Colombia who was speaking A1 English, and Susanna was helping to her with Carlos. We remember this story sometimes. It depends from the situation. So today we will improve our English reading skills. We can speak in English, we can just listen, but reading sometimes it makes an issue because different literature have different language, different jargons. It's very hard to read sometimes. But here in this lesson, I will show you some video. You will improve some reading activity, and after it, you will read some text and see how we can do it. Okay, I will show you this video. One second. 1 second, I will show you the video. Oops. Okay, here is my previous press, it's just technology issue, sorry.
No, don't worry.
New demonstration. Okay, sound share.
My name is Emma, and in today's video, I am going to teach you how to be a better reader.
Can you hear it?
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
clear.
Listen how to be a better reader.
So I want you to think about your life. Are there any things that are very difficult for you to read? Maybe you have to read something in English and you really don't understand what's happening in the story. Or maybe you're in university and you're taking a very hard course and you can't read the textbook because it's really difficult and you don't know what's happening. Well, if you're having difficulty reading, or even if you just want to remember what you read more and be a better studier, this video is for you. So first, let's look at some things students might be reading that might be causing difficulty. Some students in their universities, they have to read textbooks. If you go to university or college, or also high school, you have to do a lot of reading. And you have to do a lot of complicated reading, especially for sciences, maths, history. So this is a very good method. I'm going to teach you how to read these books better. Newspapers. Sometimes you'll be reading the newspaper and it's difficult, especially in another language. So if you're reading a newspaper and you want to be better at reading it, this video is for you. Internet sources. There's a lot of great things on the internet to read. And so this will also help you if you like reading things from the internet. Magazines, journals, for anyone who's a professional, whether you're a doctor, a nurse, a historian, or if you're in university or college, a lot of the times you have to read something called a journal, which is something for professionals to read about their field. So it's usually modern research. These things can be very difficult to read. So if you're reading these, this is a great technique for you. If you're doing the TOEFL or IELTS, although I wouldn't recommend using this technique on the actual exam, I think it's great for your practice tests, and I'll tell you why a bit later. So you can use this when you're practicing for the TOEFL and IELTS. And finally, if you're reading Shakespeare, when I read Shakespeare, I had no idea what was going on. It was very confusing, all the old English. I found it very difficult to read. There are also a lot of books that can be very, very hard to read. So these techniques will really work for you for any of these situations and many more. So before I teach you about the KWL technique, I just want you to think about reading for a second, okay? A lot of people, when they pick up a book, that's all they do. They open it up and they start reading right away. And then they close the book, and then a lot of the times they don't really remember anything they read, or they don't understand what they read. So it's a lot of wasted time. I like to think of reading how I think of jogging or running. So if we look here, I have the word running or jogging. If you like exercise, any type of exercise kind of follows this format. So reading is a lot like running. What a good reader does is they have a warm-up period. So if you think about running, before you go running, you usually stretch. Maybe you'll do a little bit of movement to get your heart pumped. So you don't just start running, you do a warm-up. The same is true with reading. The best readers usually do a warm-up. For exercise, people then usually run or jog for a certain amount of time. And then afterwards, they have what we call a cool down period. So cool down is usually when somebody wants to slow their heart rate. So maybe they walk instead of run, maybe they do more stretches, but they don't just stop what they're doing. They slowly, do slower activities before they stop jogging or running. So if you think about reading like exercise, you should also have a warm-up, and then you read, and then the cool down. This is the meat. This is the main idea of the KWL method. And I'm going to teach you exactly how we can do all of this when we read. If you do this, the point of this method is it will really, really, really help you to understand what you're reading. You're going to understand a lot more. You're going to also remember a lot more. And for those of you in university and college and high school, you're going to have to do less studying. Because if you read something right the first time, you probably won't have to keep going back again and again and again. So using this method at the beginning will save you a lot of time. So now let's look at an example of how we can use the KWL method. Okay, so KWL, what does that mean? Well, usually when I read something difficult, I make a chart like this. And under K, this stands for know. What do you already know about what you're going to read? So this is like the warm-up of, remember we talked about running? This would be like you're stretching. Then we have W. W stands for what do you want to know? What do you want to learn? So usually we write a bunch of questions under here. And this is also a part of the warm-up. This really gets you thinking about, it makes you pay attention more to what you're reading. And finally, L stands for learn. This is like the cool down. In this area, you are going to write, what did you learn from what you just read? Okay, this is going to really help you with your memory, especially. What are some interesting things you learned? Sometimes L is based off of what you wanted to know. Maybe you had a question here, and then you can write, the answer to your question if you found it. So anything interesting you learned, you write here. Okay, so let's do an example of this method. So I have a book I've been reading. I don't know if you can see that. It's Albert Einstein. Now, I'm not really strong in science, but I'm really, really interested in physics and math. But again, for me, it's a little bit difficult to read about physics because I don't really have a strong background in it. So when I was reading this book, and I'm not finished yet, but as I'm reading it, I'm actually doing the KWL method. So I want to use this book as an example on how we can use this method. So first, I wrote know. And I thought about, okay, what do I know about Einstein? So I did this before I read the book. So what do I know about Einstein? Well, I know something, E equals mc squared. I know that it has to do with Einstein. I don't actually know what it means, but I always hear Einstein E equals mc squared, so I'd write that under no. I know Einstein has crazy hair. Okay, that's something I know about him. I know he's considered a genius. I think he was German. He's a scientist. And I heard that he used to write the most romantic love letters, which is strange when you think about Einstein, but I heard he was very romantic. So these are the things I already know about Einstein. So now I can think about some questions. What do I want to know about Einstein? Before I read the book, what do I want to know? Well, I know E equals mc squared, but what does that mean? How do we use that? I have no idea what it really means. So I'm going to write this as want to know. I want to know, how did he discover it? Was he in his lab doing an experiment and found out E equals mc squared? Or was he sitting on a beach and suddenly he just thought about it? I'm really interested in how do you, think about these things. How did he find out about E equals mc squared? How is this theory used? What is it used for? Do we build things with it? Is it used for, what kind of science is it used in? How do we use E equals mc squared? I also heard before that Einstein failed math in high school. I think somebody told me that in high school. I don't know if that's true or not. So I want to know, did he really fail math? And I have a lot more questions. So I could go on. And so I write everything I want to know about the book. So then I sit and I read and I read and I read. And while I read, anything that I think is really interesting or something that surprised me, something that I learned, I write here. So in the first chapter, I learned Einstein was married multiple times. He married and then divorced and then married again. And he was really romantic. I learned he didn't actually fail high school math. And I learned he was born in Germany, but became a Swiss citizen. And so I'd keep writing everything. I'd write what E equals mc squared means, but I don't really have space on the board, and I don't want to, complicate this lesson. So, but this is a very, very good technique, again, when you're reading anything, including textbooks, newspapers, magazines, biographies. This is very, very useful. So I really, really encourage you to try the K for no, W for want to know, and L for learn method. I hope you come visit our website at www.ingvid.com. There you can actually do a quiz to practice these ideas. It's not on Einstein, don't worry, but it's about reading and how to be a better reader. So again, this is useful because it will help you remember more. It will make reading easier for you, and you won't have to read the text again and again and again. So it will save you time. Okay? I also hope you come visit our website at www.ingvid.com because we have a lot of other resources on reading there that you can use. Also, please subscribe to my channel. Until next time, take care.
Okay, she explained some methods of reading, and let's try to use them and read some text I prepared for you, some quiz at the end, including this 6th page. And, yeah, here is a text for you. Just read it out loud. We lose Eric, he doesn't have electricity. And his son, now let's read. Victoria, you can start reading. Read the first paragraph.
Okay. The Wagner's flee market in Paris, or Marcos? I don't know. I don't know if I can pronounce very well this.
Anyway, we are not in the French class. Just try to say it.
Okay, I proceed. Of of March aux Pousses de la Porte de Babnes, as it is known in France, is a collector's paradise. This small traditional open-air market is one of the few places in Paris that you will find open on Christmas Day, aside from churches and bakeries. And the market is situated in the 14th districts of Paris, on the left bank of the river Seine.
Okay,
So, yeah.
Carlos, continue.
Okay. The market sells just about everything under the sun, from jewelry and paintings worth a large sum of money, furniture, second-hand clothes, toys, bric-a-brac, and discarded household junk. The market opens at 7 o'clock in the morning and closes at 2 o'clock in the afternoon on Saturdays and Sundays.
Okay, Susana, continue.
¿A dónde esperas? ¿Cuál?
The third paragraph.
Gracias. The market has been running every weekend for more than 60 years. It draws Parisian locals looking for bargain buys, French celebrities, and tourists from all around the world. The most determined bargain hunters arrive before dawn with torches to hunt for treasure among the trash.
Okay, Victoria, your turn again.
Okay, no problem. Even the coldest weather doesn't stop the vendors from setting up their stalls or keep the customers away. A shopping trip to the market in an adventure, and you never know what you might find. It offers something for everyone, and you are unlikely to go home empty-handed.
Okay, Angela, can you hear us? Angie, can you hear us? I don't think she can hear us. Okay, who is next? Carlos next.
Okay, flea markets are a long-established French tradition. Nobody knows how their market got their name for the certain. Some people think it might be because ancient merchants and their goods were infested by fleas. Wow.
Okay, Angela, can you hear us? Angie. Angie,
I don't listen you.
can you hear me? I don't know, try to fix it. And we are doing the quiz. We finished reading and we are doing the quiz.
So I will need to.
Okay. Okay, Susana, first question is for you. Carlos, stop reading.
Okay. What other places would you find open in Paris on Christmas Day besides the market? Churches and bakeries.
Which answer is correct?
Letter A.
Okay. Yes, correct. Okay. Victoria, your turn.
When is Banvas flea market open? I don't remember very well.
Okay, look through. It's not closed book quiz, it's just practicing.
Okay. Every weekend? That's right? Every weekend. Debe.
Let's
Number 2.
yeah. All right. Okay, Susanna, third question is for you.
The text describes the market as, I'm not sure, B, a bargain hunter's idea of heaven? No.
Look.
Collector Paradise?
What?
Collector Paradise?
Yeah, Paradise was there. Okay, Angie, can you try the number 4? Angie, I don't think she can hear us. Okay, Carlos, questions to you.
True or false? Or we don't know. If the weather is really bad, then the market doesn't open. I don't know. I'm not sure.
What can you say?
Letter C.
What do you think, Victoria, Victoria, Susanna? What do you think?
Me or?
Both of you, help Carlos.
Where is really bad? It's false or no?
Yeah, false. Okay, whose turn? I think Victoria's turn.
What's going on? What needs you to go to the? Is me or?
Yes, your turn.
Me again?
Yeah.
That is true.
Yes, read the question out loud.
It's the number 8.
Read the whole question, please.
Yeah. Sorry. True, false, or we don't know. Boundless flea market is an indoor market. It's true.
True. Let's see. No.
Oh no, that's security. So it's false. I don't know. If it's white, it's black. Okay.
False. Okay, and question 6 for Susanna.
What time do the market traders set up their stalls? Letter B, 2 o'clock.
Yes, pretty hard quiz. Okay, let's switch chat. While watching the video, what new did you learn about trading? Did you like her advice, what she say? The trading is, do you agree with her comparison that the trading is like running, that we are warm up, then run, and then we are slow down? Do you agree with her? What do you think? What new did you learn today about trading, Victoria?
I need to read, and after that I need to respond or tell us.
Yes, just say what do you think about the video, what you watched today, what new did you learn? Yes, tell me. It's communicating part of the lesson now.
In this class?
Yes,
right?
in today. Yes, in this video.
Okay. Well, in this class I learn about the pronunciation, I guess, a little.
No, what did you learn about reading? Do you agree with Emma, the video in the beginning, that reading is like running? Warm up, then running, then slow down. Do you agree with this?
Oh no, I can describe it now. Maybe later.
Okay, Carlos, what do you think about the video today? About today's video?
Okay, I think Emma's tip was great. She said a good tip, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure about it because what about if you don't know anything about the history, the book, and the author of the book? Maybe, maybe if you know something about the book, you may know something about it, and you may say something about the story. But if you don't know anything about the story and you're expecting something new, you're expecting an interesting story, and you only need to read the history and expect the best of the history, and that's it. The only thing you are doing is to read, and that's it. And no matter if you don't know anything about the author or the history, if you want to learn English, you only need to read.
Okay, Susanna, what do you think about this video?
I don't know. It was interesting to give tips. I think I'm following her on her YouTube channel. I honestly don't think that I learned too much because I feel that I already saw the video.
If you saw this video, it's good because you can explain us more. Do you agree with her or not? It's good that you saw it before because it's in your memory and you can say if you agree with her advice or not. Just tell us what do you think about it.
I'm not sure. Sorry.
Okay. Okay, Victoria, are you ready to tell us what do you think about this video?
Okay, I understand a little more now. That's really great. Why, how she expressed with the example of the book of Einstein in that case, in this case, because she explained very much the the challenge of the reading in English and how important it is for all of us, because we are learning and improve with language too much all days, I suppose, in my case. And that's all, I guess. And she only know about Einstein too little in comparison to the really book. So, but that is in the interestings of her. I don't know if I can explain more better, but that's, I think.
Okay, we understand you. It's very good. But what do you think? You listened to her advice and then you read the text. Did her advice help you to understand better the text you read after we watched the video? What do you think?
If I understand the video after
The text better after this video. The text about French market.
I understand the text, but not at all. No. In a part.
100%, yeah.
In a parts, actually.
Okay,
really about the history, right?
Yeah, about French market history. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, Carlos. What about you? Does Emma's advice help you to understand the text about French market better?
Not really, because I always forget about just read. I only understand the whole story, but I don't
remember exactly what the test said. And as always, I forget the words, but I understand the whole idea. And for me, it works. That's the most important thing after reading anything, any book, any magazine, I don't know, whatever.
Okay, Susanna, what about you? Does this video advice help you to understand the text which we read after this watching this video?
Not really.
Yes, reading the whole book is one stuff, reading the text is the other. Yes,
Yes,
kind of.
it was a very short and easy to memorize. Also, there were just 6 questions, so it wasn't completely necessary to use the tips that it is teacher because they were more for a book or something bigger.
Yeah, but this video I gave for improving listening skills, but the text I gave for reading skills is separate. But I just ask you in general, did you help it or not? It's different for sure.
Of course,
But also,
it has a very clear pronunciation.
yeah, pronunciation, yes, as Victoria say. Correct. Video, yes, helps improving listening and pronunciation. Reading helps. Text helps to improve reading skills. Really 3 skills in 1 lesson. Okay. What do you like to read more? Newspapers or books, Victoria?
Books all my life.
Yes, for sure. Carlos, what about you?
Of course, books. They are more interesting. You can.
Susanna, what
learn
about
more
you?
when you read books.
I prefer newspapers because I have to read a lot in my work and I don't have enough time to read these books. I've been trying, but other things, mostly academic things, are consuming all my time. And the news are short, and I like to know what's happening around the world with friends.
Yeah, 4 to 1. I also prefer books because books are detective and other story, but in the newspapers, it also can be detective news. It's kind of detective story at some point. So I'm 50-50 anyway on the both sides. Thank you for coming to the lesson. It was very nice discussion. Hope you like this lesson and hope to see all of you in the next class. Glad to see. And yeah,
Thank you for the class and see you next week.
see you next week. Bye.
Bye.